would argue that you're not lazy, but you actually might be drained. This is what I'm seeing everywhere nowadays. Like, we're all drained, we're all pretty much functioning way beyond our capacity. And this is something that we don't talk enough about, we're always hearing how to be more productive, this and that, how to get more done, but no one is talking about, wait a minute, maybe I don't need to get more done. Maybe I need to better manage the energy that I already have and stop leaking energy all over the place, left and right. So today, my loves, that is what we're talking about. Anyone that knows me knows that I am obsessed with the word energy. I'm always talking about energy. I'm all about energy. I'm always feeling energies, talking about energetic fields. You get it. So today we are diving right into it because that is a topic I'm so excited about. I also don't believe that you need more motivation, and motivation only gets you so far, right? What you need is to stop leaking the energy that you already have, because in a way it's finite. I struggle with that word. It's finite, right? It's a very finite resource. So let's get into it. Now, what is energy leaks actually all about? Is that another fancy term that people come up with to sound edgy? Well, I don't think so. I really do think that, like, to me, energy is everything and we're energetic beings. You're probably tired of hearing me saying that already. But let's start for those who don't know, who maybe it's the first time you hearing that word. Energy leaks. I have my notes here because otherwise your girl can be here talking all day long and nobody got time for that. So energy is pretty much your focus, your time, your emotions, your thoughts. It's everything in them. It's your attention. And it's also leaks happens when you give too much away at the wrong place or to the wrong people. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure this is already ringing a bell in a lot of you right now. And especially when there is a lack of reciprocity because there is no circuitry. You remember if you took you definitely must have taken that, but I don't know if you remember physics class, but like more like in primary school. And then there's a few class I remember where we would play with like a circuit board. And I remember that course was like so cool. And technically, what I took away from this course was things the circuit needs to close, the loop needs to close, the energy needs to close. And this is what's happening. This is why a lot of us are just feeling burnt out. We're just like giving, but it's not, the same way we have like a positive and the minus, unlike a battery, it's the same thing. And then they complete the circuit. It's the same way that our energy works, the same way. When we give, there needs to be like the other side needs to send back, and then it's flowing beautifully in a perfect synchronicity. Is it synchronicity in a perfect synergy? I can't talk today. Oh gosh, we'll get through. But so this is why I don't really, motivation is really amazing. It's fun. It's more like that. It's that snack. It's that, I see motivation as that cheap food that you get, but doesn't really get you far. I know, I can't believe I said that. Motivation is huge. Motivation is a big industry, like worth like what? Billions of dollars. But again, how many times do we hear people being like, oh, well, you get motivated, you feel motivated on Monday. It lasts for you'll be lucky if it lasts you, if some time. And then after that, you crash and burn. So here we're learning to manage what we already have. We all have our own like energy equal our life force. And then we need to start seeing our energy as you are the car and your energy is the fuel in the car. Now, at a certain given time, you can only carry a certain amount of fuel in the car. Once you run out of fuel, well, guess what happens? Your car stops. That's the same thing. Once you run out of your energy or you didn't really manage it properly throughout the day, you start burning out and you start feeling drained, you start feeling tired. We need to start seeing life like this. So, common ways energy leaks, right? Because there's so many ways. We also leak our energy ourselves, by the way. I love calling out people, but I also like calling ourselves out. It's my favorite thing. Ways we do the best job in leaking our own energy is replaying conversations that happened in the past over and over again, beating a dead horse. My goodness. Oh, I'm thinking about, God bless her. Bless her heart, my dear mother, double Capricorn, absolutely gets stuck in rehashing the same stuff that happened and happened and happened again. I started calling her out on it. I try to do it as lovingly as possible because I always thought she was never aware of that, but I'm finding out now that she's actually aware of it. That's just, I think we need to be careful because I think what happened with my mom, for example, is that it has become a soothing mechanism for her. And if you find yourself having that same thing, I think it's very important for us to slowly try to rewrite that because it's not normal that, for example, my mom would still bring up things that happened. It wouldn't stop. Okay, so these are all ways that we are actually burning through our own energy in a very inefficient way and leaking our energy, our life force ourselves, not even needing other people to do it for us, but we're doing it ourselves. Another way could be worrying about things you cannot control. Now I think that is something that affects all of us because us humans, we're not comfortable with the unknown, which is kind of ironic because we're not running the show here, we don't know anything. Okay. So, but I think we should all make it a practice to slowly get more comfortable with the unknown as much as possible. I've turned this lately into a game. For example, like when I had to travel lately, I checked the flight and then I didn't really like the price that much. And then I gave myself, you know what? I'll wait. I'll surrender. And like these are all, well, that wasn't like the best example for a little way, but a very, very small example, like ways I practice this with myself. For example, let's say I go to my favorite coffee shop, right, during the week. I have that favorite table that I like working in. I like working that table. It's my spot, and nobody take my spot. But I noticed that I got caught into like a headspace where I'll get mad when my spot was taken. And I'm so happy I caught it. I had to be like, okay, hold up. What is going on? And I've been using this as a great example to surrender. I'm like, okay, listen, I surrender, creator, okay, light, however you want to call it. Just whichever table you think is right for me today, I know it'll be an amazing day. And it's that fun little game that I started playing with myself lately. And it's actually really fun. You know what's funny? The more I surrender, the more life surprises me with amazing things. For example, like last time I dropped at the coffee shop at the time that is usually the busiest. And guess what table was waiting for me, like glowing with my name all over it? My table. And sometimes I'll even be like, because we have to be careful. Surrender doesn't mean that you always get what you think you want. Okay, surrender just means that we're practicing detachment. And because I take this practice so seriously, sometimes I would get there, my table would be available, and I'd be like, you know what? I'll put myself out of my comfort zone today. I'll be a little bit uncomfortable and I'll choose the bench seat with everyone on it, the group seating that I don't really like, but I need to force myself out of my comfort zone once in a while. Sometimes I'll be like, I'll leave that table for someone else to enjoy it today. So all of these are little ways that look seamless, but they can literally change your life because we're rewiring our brain pathways, and then this is how we can apply the same patterns in bigger life situation. God forbid, let's say you're dealing with something like, I don't know, like an illness or something that's much greater. This is where I feel like this little practice can help us let go, surrender, while we're also still showing up and doing the effort in doing our part in doing our work and whatever we can do to improve our life at the same time. So it's always that balancing act, like most things in life. And something else I wanted to say about that is another way that we overthink everything and we're leaking energy is making small decisions feel heavy. We need to practice again letting things go. Just don't use too much energy deciding, oh, what outfit am I wearing today? you know, and so technically, thinking and overthinking doesn't mean that you're in control, and it doesn't equal progress. So we need to really understand that we get a gazillion thoughts in a day. They're not all us. A lot of these thoughts are coming from that inner sabotaging voice that we all come with. It kind of like what I learned from in Kabbalah, which I study, which is like a spiritual system that tells us how everything in the world works, like the energetic rules and everything. It's like when we come in this life, we come in this out because we're soul having a human experience, right? We should, very, very important for us to remember that. So our soul enters this body, and our body is that flesh, that suit that we're wearing in this lifetime. So but we need to be careful that we're not carried away. And also we have to remember that that suit comes, one of my teachers loves to say, Batia Solomon, absolutely love her, she loves to say how this flesh comes with a voice. It comes with the voice, that inner voice that we think is ourselves, that is always sabotaging us, telling us that we're not enough. It's the voice that comes with the flesh suit. So we have to be careful not to give it so much weight and not to let us rule our lives, because when we catch ourselves in overthinking, a lot of time it's not even coming from us. It's not really your true self. So be careful, because all of these ways are ways that we are leaking energies. Another thing that I want to talk about is constant phone. Listen, I'm guilty of that. I need to raise my hand. Step forward. Do you plead guilty or innocent? I plead guilty. Okay, I'm 1000% guilty on that. Constantly checking your phone. Even if I'm not on social media, I find myself still checking my phone too much, checking my WhatsApp, checking my email, checking everything. We're all slaves to our phones. So we need to really try to work on that and get better on that, and also that content consumption, endless scrolling, consuming instead of creating. That's why we've seen that creation movement, which is really amazing. Starting your day on your phone is not the best thing. Lately, I really make an effort. My phone is still next close to me, because I use it as all sorts of things like alarm and things like that. But lately, I really make an effort when I wake up. First thing I do, my meditation, my prayers, and taking the time to journal like in the morning, like what are you grateful for, what is my intention, the seed that I like to plant for the day. Sometimes it's I like to be more patient today, I like to be have more compassion for others today, things like that. I feel like we need to really start our day on the right foot, because it's literally such a crucial moment of the day that often sets the mood for the entire day, instead of just like going on autopilot and just catching our phone, because again, there's all ways that we're already draining our energy. By the way, I do want to let you know that I do have a 5-day free course. It's totally free, training that it's by email. The link is below, where we are actually practicing. What I like about it is that it's every day you get an email, so you get to apply the lesson of the day, the tool for the day, and then you do that throughout the days, and it really helps you take control back over your energy and stop leaking energy. So if you're interested, all the links are down below. But I really had so much fun putting together this resource, because I really do think that it can help rewire your brain, and just like take control of your life, because our energy is your life force. It's everything. If you don't have energy, you don't feel like waking up in the morning, you don't feel like going to work, you can't show up in your relationship, you don't feel like, if you're looking for a date, you're not in the mood to go out there and then be open for like, meet new people. You can't do anything. I wish we understood it's your currency. It's everything comes out of that. I feel like we're disconnected because we can't see it, but it's there. It seems that it affects your consciousness, and then you need your consciousness to do everything in life. So that's why I'm obsessed with that topic, and that's why I'm talking about it all the time. And another thing that drains us is unfinished task and mental clutter. Again, I'm guilty. Too many open loops in our head. Now, astrologically speaking, some people are gonna have a harder time with that than others. If you do have a Gemini moon, you are naturally gonna be someone that's gonna be like, ooh, like a million things is happening in your head. That's just air. That's the element of air. Things move fast. You are, run by Mercury. It's super fast there, like lots of air movement going on. Air, the realm of the thoughts, right? So this is why, again, I always talk about how you need to know your chart, because you need to know what you're working in. Then you can counterbalance that. On that note, the readings, my birth chart readings, are also in the box, in the links, wherever you're watching this. So check that out if you need help with that. But too many open loops in your head, it goes without saying that it's gonna drain your energy. I don't think I'm teaching you anything new here. And also putting things off that keeps stressing you out. Like constantly like snoozing thing. You put things to do, your to-do list, you put things, you have alarms, but you constantly snoozing it. Just do it. Like the great Nike said, just do it. And also living in I'll do it later mode. Again, it's all linked together. Just do it now. And because when we keep things simple, there's less clutter and we burn less energy. This is where, it's more efficient. And also another thing that I felt like we do is ignoring our body's signal whenever we're running on low sleep, when we're skipping meals, we're not moving enough, we're like working on the computer too much, not moving our body enough, pushing through exhaustion. Your body keeps the score. Just remember that. You're not outrunning your body. You're not outsmarting your body. Let me break it to you here. It's always going to catch up to you. So, just it's very important for us to pay attention to our body. It's a very smart system there to guide us. So there's many ways that we can start reclaiming our energies, practical and grounded. First of all, we want to audit where the energy is going. Take a time, assess, notice what drains you, who drains you, coming for the tea, who drains you, and also notice what gives you energy and who gives you energy. And then you guessed it, diminish the side, increase the other side. This is where the magic happens. People, habits, thoughts, routines. You need to constantly assess these things. You are the captain of your ship running the show here. It's your responsibility to constantly assess these things and making sure that the ship is staying level, that things are grounded and balanced. Also, I'm a big proponent of doing less. Doing less is more. Okay, I'm such a queen of less is more. Do less, but do it with more intention. Fewer commitments, fewer mental loops open, and one thing at a time. We're not team, what's the word? Multitasking here. Multitasking is a scam. Say no to multitasking, kids. No, it's usually, that's like, no. One thing at a time. Even if you think multitasking works for you, pay attention. The mental load that you're using to constantly exchange, again, for my content creators out there, it's the same thing with like, that is the concept that came behind batching things. I noticed that if I'm editing something here, oh my God, I'm listening to that, I'm doing that, whew, I'm burnt out. Versus if I sit down and I do the same task and do the whole group, and then I move on to the next one, and I move on to the next one. And this is also, I'm talking for my manifesting generators out there. Okay? You're not immune to that. So one thing at a time. You can do many things, but you can do one thing at a time, and you see how you feel lighter. You feel like you in flow much, much greater. And also protect your mornings and evenings. I kind of touched upon that earlier, but don't give your best energy away just like that, mindlessly. Your morning is just the way, it's the seed of the day, and how we start the day is how we pretty much tend to it's going to be the energy that's going to follow throughout the day. So really be mindful of that, and also wind down properly. I'm not talking about drinking a bottle of wine to wind down. Again, I used to do all of these bad things. I used to do them before this. I think this is why I'm so passionate behind the podcast, because a lot of these things I'm talking about, they're not just random stuff that I pull out from thin air. They're actually real experience. So find out what works for you. If you like to enjoy a glass of wine, just keep it with, apply restriction. You don't need to drink a whole bottle of wine. Believe it or not, but that used to be me a few years ago. It's wild thinking about that. So all of these things are things that actually drain us without us realizing that, because they're sneaky and they often feel good in the moment. Also, another point, things that we can do to gain our energy back, to get be in control again, is stop explaining yourself so much. I feel like I used to do that all the time in the past. Short answers are enough. Stop explaining yourself so much. Boundaries don't need speeches. I know we're all about my boundaries, my boundaries. Listen, I'm all about boundaries here. I cover boundaries so much. But what I realized with time is that actions speak louder than words, period. And people would learn through your action. People learn, you teach people how you want them to teach you. So the words, when you start talking too much, people start interpreting into all sorts of things and through their own filters. Everyone has their own filters. And it's just like sometimes we don't need to talk so much. So just learn to, understand, when is it worth explaining all this, or just keep it short and simple. And yeah, so I literally do think that these are all things that we need to work on. Your energy is really finite. I got it this time. For the day, don't forget that not everything deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves access to you. I made a whole other episode on that. Not everyone deserves access to you. I don't remember where it was when it was. You can go through the catalog. Can you tell I'm a 90s baby? Catalog. You don't hear that word anymore. But you can go to the collection, the playlist. I'm giving away my age here by using catalog. I'm thinking about Sears catalog. Remember Sears? Anyone knows Sears catalog? Any other Canadians here remember Sears catalogs? I think Sears also in the States also. Anyways, oh my God, I remember when my mom and my grandma used to place orders in catalog and then sending out the order through like the form. Oh, guys, so many memories. Anyhow, you see all the overthinking. Anyways, like I'm saying, all of these things, I hope that you found a couple of tips, things that you can work on for the next few weeks, because I do believe that this will totally change your life. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everybody deserves access to you. Protecting your energy is not selfish. Just like they tell us in the plane, you need to put your oxygen mask first before you can be of service. And because if you pass out, then you're not helping anyone else. So put your oxygen mask first, and then you can be so much more useful to others around you. So on that note, don't forget that I do have the energy leaking, course that is free in the links description. And also, you need to know thyself. This is why I so often remind you that if you haven't done so already, do take your birth chart reading. You could do that with me. All the links are down below. On that note, my loves, keep shining bright like a diamond. Protect your energy, because hello, it is gold. Okay. On that note, I'll see you in the next one. Keep shining bright like a diamond. Bye. Mwah.